Okay, so I see, Ada, you're trying to sign in on your phone now.
Exactly. It's not very good, but better than nothing. Sorry.
That's okay. We still can't see you, but that's all right.
Really?
No, we don't see your picture, just your name. But that's okay. Don't worry about that.
Sorry. I don't want to waste your time, so I'm gonna just leave it.
That's just fine. I mean, you're always very good about having your camera on, so I appreciate that. So
Thank you.
don't worry about it for today.
Okay.
So today we're going to be talking about the conversation activities assignment. We're going to go to the Canvas platform and have a look at that. So into the modules tab here, we scroll down, and Vanny, this is why you need to send the message to Simon about opening up the modules for you, because after the midterm exam, which is right here, the next thing that we're looking at, which is what we're talking about today, is the conversation activities assignment.
Thank you. I will.
So anyway, you'll get a good sense of it from our conversation today. So inside here, the conversation activities guideline. Excuse me for the coughing. I've got a little bit of a rough throat today.
Hope you get better.
Oh, thank you. I think as Vanny said, I think it's the weather that's causing these issues for all of us,
Yeah.
But so we're looking at designing the conversation activities. This practical approach is an introduction to design conversation activities that can be used in conversation workshops and group classes of more than 2 people. The idea is straightforward and to the point. To have a conversation, we need a subject. Once a topic is selected, we then need to know few parameters to design a conversation lesson. Following are important points to be considered in a conversation class. Now, with a conversation, there are 2 key factors. Oh, Ada, we have your picture now. That's
Oh,
good.
really? Okay.
Yes.
But it's my phone, so it's so small. Sorry.
That's quite all right. Not a problem.
Okay.
Good to see you, though.
Thank you too.
So with a conversation, there are 2 very, very important components that we must have. What are those 2 components that you must have in order to be able to have a conversation? You must have 2 what?
Two sides.
And what are the sides? How do you get 2 sides?
I mean, the person who talks and the person who listens to that.
Exactly. You need a speaker and you need a listener.
Yeah.
It's exactly right. So this conversation activities assignment, this is all based on speaking and listening activities. Later on, you'll be doing the 4 skills lesson plans assignment, and those assignments are based on speaking, listening, reading, and writing. But right now, just focus on speaking and listening. Now, even with that focus, it's impossible to have a speaking and listening conversation activity. It's impossible to have that without having a little bit of reading and a little bit of writing. So you're always going to have a little bit of those, but those are not the focus right now, okay? The focus right now is the speaking and the listening. So you also need to identify the number of the participants or students that you're going to have in your conversation activity. Based on the number of participants, an activity can change in its time duration, the flow of conversation, participations of students, time sharing of each student, and even the presented material. So the number of students involved affects everything. You need to identify the level of students and their basic knowledge in the selected language. Students' language levels will make a significant impact on the selection of a conversation activity and its presentation. Lower levels tend to be at ease with basic vocabularies, example, greeting, shopping, etc. Intermediate levels would prefer more challenging vocabularies, such as daily conversation on tabloids, journals, and advanced level students would prefer professional topics within the academic contexts. Depending on the selected vocabularies, each student can be presented at various levels. Each subject can be presented at various levels from beginners to the advanced. Depending on their levels, use of material can also be modified. For instance, beginners tend to understand a conversation much better when they hear it and see it. Hence, the use of video or YouTube programs can be advantageous. On the other hand, advanced students may further benefit from reading an article in a newspaper or listening to the news on the radio and discussing the topics in the class. A class with multiple levels of students is best to be corrected for their levels or avoided. But if you are in such a class, the suggestion is to carry on with intermediate level. Now, there are many different headings and categories here that we're going to come back to and look at in a moment. But I want you just to have a look at these different labels, the different headings that are in dark bold print, because I'm going to show you the conversation activity assessment form that I created that I use when I'm marking assignments by the students. So all of these headings that I've got here, I took from these headings that are on the Canvas platform. So I'll be happy to email this form to you. Excuse me.
Yeah, if it's okay, thank you. It will be very helpful.
I certainly will do that.
So Daniel, again, in the group, can we send you our email address?
I'm going to ask you to do it this way for me, Ada. I'm going to put my email address in the chat box right now.
Perfect. Actually, because I'm with my phone, I think I don't have access to chat. Vianney, would you please, after the class, send it to me?
Of course, I
Thank you.
will.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. And Daniel, will that apply for me as well?
Well, the assignment, you do the assignment, Vianney, yes, but you'll be doing yours in Spanish.
Okay.
You'll write your conversation activities in Spanish, but you still need to follow the same process and you still need to complete all the same headings.
Okay.
Okay. So
Thanks.
you can certainly, I mean, this is in English. As you can see, let me just share it again. It's in English, but that's because I was basing it on the Canvas platform material. But Vianney, if you take this and you copy it and you create your own in Spanish, you can just translate each of these headings into Spanish.
Okay, so in that case, Simon will not provide the sheet in Spanish ready for me. I will have to do it myself.
Correct, because
Okay.
I created this page.
Okay.
This page does not exist at TESOL. I created this for me to use when I'm marking these conversation activity assignments.
Thank you for sharing. I will do that.
So don't ask Simon to send this to you in Spanish because he doesn't have it. Doesn't exist at TESOL.
Yeah. And it's
It's
not in the Canvas. It's just yours.
No,
Okay.
it's just I created it as a
Okay,
Word
great.
document, a PDF myself.
Okay. Thank you for sending that.
So I will email it to you, but I would like you to email me first
Sure.
and request it so that I've got your email address.
Definitely. Thank you.
And then it's just easier for me to return the email to you.
Okay.
Okay, so we're going to just look at something else for a brief moment. These are my conversation activities assignment that I did back in June of 2020. So I started off this paper, this assignment by putting together a page with an introductory statement, and I just talked about what I identify as three main types of learning: visual, audio, and kinesthetic. And in order to connect with all learners for their maximum benefit, it is essential for the teacher to present lessons which address each of these types. So you're not required to have a page like this at the beginning. It's just an introductory page that I wanted to include with my assignment. So then we get into the actual conversation activities. So there were some questions last week, I think it was, about the outcomes-based curriculum development.
Yeah. Thank you for answering to that.
Oh, you're welcome. So the outcomes-based curriculum development simply, and this outcomes-based idea, whether you're talking about a curriculum that lasts an entire semester, or whether you're talking about a unit of curriculum that might last a month, or whether you're talking about just an individual lesson plan, such as this lesson plan right here, by giving it a title, by putting naming the topic of the lesson, you are identifying what it is you want to have as the outcome. So I said, this subject is shopping for groceries. I said it's got 10 students in the class. The level of the students is basic to low intermediate. The average age of the students is 18 years old. And the length of the time duration of the class, 30 to 45 minutes. Now, I use that time frame because TESOL identifies that as the time frame that they prefer for an individual lesson. So keep that in mind. Use 30 to 45 minutes as your individual lesson time frames. And then I stated assumptions that I have connected to this class. I identified what is the knowledge of professional and educational background and interests. This is, as a teacher, my knowledge of the students' professional and educational background and their interests. So I said, these are young adults arrived in Canada by themselves for study or work purposes, and they all need to eat. That's why I chose the topic shopping for groceries. So, I mean, what you choose as your topic titles is entirely up to you. You know, let your imagination run wild and have some fun with the topics. You'll see what I mean. I'll show you several of mine. So, shopping for groceries because students have to eat. They have various language and cultural backgrounds, and the environment of the classroom is a native environment classroom in Canada. I said CLT is one of the methodologies to address listening, speaking, reading, and writing acquisition needs. TPR, actions, role play to enhance the CLT method, and audiolingual ALM to support with correct grammatical structures as needed, oral repetition drills by students. And then a list of available material. When you do these conversation activities, go out to the internet. Now, these images are from the Dreams Time website, but there's clip art that you can go to and other websites where you can get pictures free. You don't need to buy pictures, but go and find pictures that connect to your topic and include lots of pictures in your conversation activities. This is just a matter of cut and paste these into the Word document, and then they save as a PDF. So this is a PDF document we're looking at. Originally, it was a Word document. So I created all my assignments as Word documents, and then I converted them to PDF before I email the PDF off to TESOL for marking. And also remember to include a YouTube video that is connected with the topic you're talking about. So this is talking about shopping for groceries. So I'll show you a little bit of this YouTube video. I don't know if you'll be able to hear it, but I'll show it to you at least.
ECVO started as my college project, and we now sell our wheel covers all around the world.
Grocery shopping.
Are you able to hear that?
Yeah.
Yep. Okay. So this is the video that I have related to grocery shopping.
Okay.
Hello?
Hello. Can I help you?
Yes, please. I would like a loaf of white bread, a dozen eggs, and milk.
Sure. How much milk would you like?
I'd like 2 cartons of milk.
Okay. Anything else?
Yes, a small bag of flour and a bottle of oil.
What kind of oil would you like?
A small bottle of olive oil, please.
Here you are. Will that be all?
Yes, that's all. How much is it?
That's $23.
Here you are.
And here is your receipt.
Could you please give me a bag?
Yes, of course. Here it is. Have a nice day.
Thank you. Goodbye.
Goodbye.
Hi.
Hi. What can I do for you?
I would like a bunch of bananas and the yellow and red apples.
I'm afraid we only have green apples left. Is that all right?
Yes, that will be fine.
Anything else?
Yes. Have you got any olives?
Yes, we have both green and black olives. Which do you prefer?
I would like a jar of green olives.
Here you are.
How much does it cost?
It's $10.75.
Do you remember the item that was that he was out of, that the first customer asked for?
Oh,
Apples?
yeah.
Yes, but what kind of apples did he ask for?
Green?
Yeah.
No, he asked the customer, the
had
lady
green.
asked for red apples,
Yeah. But they just had green.
and he said they only have green.
Yeah.
And so I asked that question on purpose because when we get down into the main part of the activity, the conversation activity, this item right here, distribute sheets to the students with keywords listing items that the customer is requesting. Loaf of bread, loaf of white bread, a dozen eggs, milk, red apples, etc. These items are listed out of the order in which they are requested in the video.
Mhm.
So I'd list them out of order on purpose to make sure that the students are able to figure out what is what.
Mhm.
And then I explained, we'll watch the video again, and the students are to circle the items on the page as they hear it said in the video. Also, ask the students to write down an item requested which the shopkeeper does not have in stock. Red apples asked for by the second customer. Watch the video again while the students complete their paper exercise. Discuss the responses, circle, and ask who identified the item that was not in the store. And then distribute one grocery item picture to each of the students, and then have the students do a role play activity where the teacher acts as the shopkeeper and individual students request the grocery item in the picture they have been given. Then the students exchange their pictures with each other and repeat step number 9. So you see how I'm integrating conversation into this, but I'm also asking questions that cause them to really pay close attention to the video, because if they're not paying attention, they won't be able to answer the question.
Yes.
And there's also a tiny bit of reading and writing, But as I said earlier, it's impossible not to have reading and writing, even though you're focused on speaking and listening. It's impossible to not have some reading and writing. Okay. So let's go back to, excuse me.
Daniel, that is a
Yes,
very good video. In our case, when we are getting our plan together, can we choose any video from YouTube?
sure.
Okay.
Yep, absolutely. All I did was I went to YouTube and in the search bar, I just typed in grocery shopping. And that was one of the videos that came up. I mean, with grocery shopping, there were hundreds of grocery shopping videos. I chose that one because it's quite short.
Okay, we just put the link to avoid
Yes.
oh, I can't say that word. Um, just to let them know where we took it from, right?
Exactly. Exactly. Yeah, because you always need to identify where you're getting your material from. So on that point as well, that's why I type underneath the pictures where I got these images from. And that makes sure that you're not plagiarizing.
Thank you, yes.
So these are from Google Clip Art. So I'll always identify the source of your pictures and I mean the source of this link is obvious with the YouTube inside the link. So that identifies everything. Note the goals and the terminal objectives and the benefits to English learners. With the goal, you want the goal to link back to what the main topic is. So this is grocery shopping. And we want to make sure that students have specific practice, grammatical fluency in conversation, and cultural familiarity with the shopping experience in whatever language and country you're dealing with. In my example, we're dealing with English in Canada, and so that's fine. So the goal and the terminal objectives are the benefits to the English language learner, and they link directly to the goals. The enabling objectives are the objectives that help you. That's what the students do. These are the objectives that help you arrive at the terminal objectives, which help you to achieve the goal. On this page that I will send to you, that I'll email to you, I've explained here that the goal, this is the overall goal of the lesson. So with my topic of shopping for groceries, you could say here to have a clear understanding of the words and the vocabulary related to the topic. The enabling objectives lead to the terminal objectives. So the enabling objectives use learned vocabulary and grammar to achieve an understanding or to express themselves and talk about the topic, to order particular produce items or whatever the case might be. And the terminal objectives are the benefits to the English language learners. And the students with terminal objectives, the students will identify and describe whatever it is that they're doing with the particular subject matter. So here, the vocabulary use, the accent correction, the pronunciation, listening, speaking, and the subject by use of specific practice, grammatical fluency in conversation, and cultural familiarity, all of these linked back to the topic of this activity, which is grocery shopping. Okay?
So even we have some assignment like this, yeah, for this. I mean, we have to design an activity, a conversation activity.
Yes.
And it should be something like that. We have to choose a topic and then we have to design these questions and the goals and
Right.
everything.
Right. That's correct.
Okay.
Now, are you in diploma or advanced? Which program are you in?
Mine is not advanced, no.
Mine is
You're in advanced, Vianney?
correct.
So are you in the foundation program, Ada?
Yes, I am.
Okay, so I was in the diploma program and I had to do 12 conversation activities.
Mhm.
I think the advanced is 10, or maybe advanced is 12 as well.
And
So,
Daniel,
sorry. So we
you
need
go
to
first.
choose 10 or 12 topics, and for each topic, we need to design something like that.
Yes.
Okay, so it's a lot of work. Okay.
Yes, it is a lot of work. Yes, you're
Yeah.
absolutely right.
But and how
Daniel,
much time do we have? I didn't actually check the canvas. Maybe it's there.
I don't think the due date of this assignment is on Canvas,
Oh, okay.
but I'm just looking at what Dr. Valley sent to me. The due date for the conversation activities is February 12th.
Okay, good. So we have time.
Yes, but again, if you cannot get it done by February 12th, you don't need to worry about it. You can hand it in a little bit later than that, and that's not a problem.
Okay, good. Thank you.
and Daniel, once we have the topics selected, once we know what we want to talk about, do we just choose no, let me just put it in a different way. Otherwise, it won't make sense. Uh, Once I have my plan and the topic that I want to talk about, I just ask one of my friends or something to help me, and I can um, record whatever I'm trying to teach on Zoom, and then just upload that into Canvas or send it directly to Simon.
Uh, in order to do these conversation activities, you need to write out a lesson plan like
So
this.
I just need the PDF document. That's it.
You just need the document, correct?
Thank you.
Yes. So my next topic, I chose shopping for a vehicle.
Mhm.
So that's where I say, just let your imagination run wild to pick the topics that you choose. And then my next topic was shopping for materials to build a garden shed.
So all of them are shopping, but different items.
Well, these happen to be 3 shopping ones,
Oh, okay.
but you don't have to do all shopping.
Okay, yeah, I know.
So this is ordering from a menu, takeaway or in a restaurant.
Yeah, it's very useful.
Right. So various topics. And here's reading a map.
Good one.
So I included some map pictures, and they have a a route that they're supposed to figure out. So they're given a map of part of Toronto, and they have to figure out how to get to the CN Tower.
Okay, good. It's
So
very practical.
that's what this is about. This
Yeah.
is for getting to the CN Tower. Here's the CN Tower right here.
Hello again, and welcome to the intro video for Unit 13. Today, we are talking about giving directions. All right, let's get started. Howard is asking Bob for directions about how to get to different locations in the city. Let's listen to their conversation. How do I get to the post office? Go up Main Street. Turn left on 2nd Avenue. Go down 2nd Avenue. It's on the left, across from the bookstore. How can I get to the park? Walk down Center Street. Turn left on 1st Avenue. Walk up 1st Avenue. It's on the corner of 1st and Main. Giving directions with
So you see with the video is talking about different destinations in a city than what I'm talking about, but it still gives you the idea.
So can I ask something?
Yes, definitely.
So Daniel, for every topic, you wrote a lesson plan and then you add a link of a video, all of them for every topic.
Yes, a link of a video as well as photographs that
Okay, and photograph,
connect
yeah.
to the topic. Yeah,
Okay, great. Okay, thank you.
yeah, absolutely. So then, part of this conversation activity is to discuss the abbreviations on the map. So BLVD is the abbreviation for boulevard, ST for street, etc. So there are logistical things that you can talk about related to the map in this particular topic, this particular example. And then I chose another topic, go to the local park for a picnic. So here we are in the park with the picnic, and we've got our picnic activity center set up here with all the cutlery and the plates and dishes. And this is the best part of this lesson. This is all the food. Look at those desserts. That'd be great.
Good one.
That'd be great fun. Excuse me just for a second. Sorry about that. That was the doctor's office calling.
Okay, sure.
So in this particular activity here, the one where we're going to the park for a picnic, I have them actually preparing the picnic basket. We're using pictures of different items that they can put into a basket to take to the park. Or, I mean, you could actually take the class to a park and do the picnic with them that way.
Mhm.
So hopefully this gives you an idea of the variety of topics that you can pick for your conversation activities. And as I said, it's a wide variety, and use your imagination, you know.
And Daniel, how do we know if we have to do 10 or 12?
I think it was in the Canvas, Danny. I saw that before, but I don't remember.
Okay, thank you.
Well, that's what I was looking for a few minutes ago here in the Canvas platform. This says your assignment is to design 10. Excuse me. So I would say that you should aim for 10. I don't think either one of you is required to do 12. I know the diploma students definitely do 12, but it looks like you're only required to do 10. If you do 10 and you hand in 10 and they expect you to do 12, they'll tell you.
Okay.
But Vanny, because you're doing yours in Spanish, you should definitely send Simon Baker an email. When you send Simon the email, ask him to unlock the next module in Canvas so that you can read about conversation activities. Ask him exactly how many do you need to do in Spanish.
I will, thank you.
So Ada, I'm pretty confident that you only need to do 10.
10. Okay.
Okay?
And we have to design them and write them and all of them together on a PDF file. We have to email it to that TESOL Canada.
Correct. So
Not one by one, all together.
correct. So
Okay.
this is all one document. Mine is, so these are all 12 of mine. It's 27 pages long,
Mhm.
but it's all of my conversation activities in one document.
Okay. Okay.
So
I got it.
it all goes in together at one time. Otherwise, they wouldn't be able to keep track of them.
Exactly. And if you send the email to us, I think it will be very helpful, because we have an idea how to do it and it's like what. It's a very good example. Thank you.
Certainly, and you can use this as a guideline to help you
Exactly.
design
Yeah.
and set yours up.
Thank you.
Now, some very important parts. Be sure to discuss the assessment you do of the students. How are you going to assess them? And be sure to include extra class assignments that connect to the activities of the assignment previously described in your lesson plan. Okay?
Okay. Okay, sure.
Okay, so there we go. So hopefully that gives you a good idea of how you would build those. Now we're going to go back to the Canvas platform, because I do want to cover a few more of these sections about it. Even though we've looked at these in my example, and we've looked at the assessment template that has these different headings, I want to spend a little bit of time going over the details about what is expected in each of the sections. So when they talk about the environment of practice, whether it's native or non-native, a native speaking environment is always the preferred place to learn a language and practice conversation. However, due to their jobs, school, or other obligations, most people cannot travel. Teachers can facilitate this matter by providing a simulation place within the classroom or online. The material used in a native environment is slightly different than non-native classes. To learn about shopping in a native-speaking country, a class can take a field trip right to the market, a mall, or a bazaar, while in a non-native area, all must be conducted in a classroom or online using videos and role plays. Now, at this point, I'd just like to make a mention about the samples of conversation activities that you'll find on the Canvas platform. The samples that are given are samples from a few years ago, before the pandemic. When the pandemic hit the globe, everything changed, including the requirements of these different assignments. So the conversation activities assignment and the 4 skills lesson plan assignment, TESOL now required people, because they were definitely being prepared for online delivery. TESOL now required that we would include photographs and pictures, because the students can learn so much through a picture that they might not understand just from words being used to describe something. And the videos teach so much information much more clearly than just describing it. Because with the video, you have not only conversation, but as you saw in these videos that I showed you, it typed out what was being said by the characters in the videos, so that the student is able to see the words that are being said, they're able to hear the words, and they can see the characters acting out the activity as well. So you get reinforcement from all of these different angles occurring with the videos that you include in these lessons. So when the pandemic hit, TESOL classes, which had previously been inside classrooms around the globe, TESOL classes were forced to go online, as just about every educational institution was forced to go online. So with TESOL going online, we were now required to create and include PowerPoints, YouTube videos, pictures and photographs. There have been some of the TESOL students who did their conversation activities and they set them up as PowerPoint presentations. And you could do that too if you wanted. So with the PowerPoint presentation, they would have the first few sections on one slide, then the next section would have the next little bit of information, and then they would include pictures and the YouTube link on another slide, and they would build a PowerPoint presentation that would be their conversation activity. So that's definitely an option. When you're describing the methods that you used in the class, you must also consider the methodologies that are applicable. As you're aware, total physical response system, Montessori, CLT, audiolingual, Berlitz. What's another word, another name for the Berlitz method?
Direct.
Yes, good. And there's the immersion method and intensive teaching approach. All differ in their styles of activities and homework follow-up. So depending on the methodologies that you use in the class, that can affect what it is you give as follow-up activities later on. So you do a list of the available materials you would use in the class, whatever it might be, whether it's Wi-Fi in the classroom, CD players, TV and DVD players, in-class network connections, whatever you might have. Assuming the activity is about cars and trucks and types of cars and their special gears, the teachers must present the class with pictures, articles, and website links. YouTube videos, or any other tool that can assist students through conversation. So, for instance, if you were talking about cars and the mechanical aspects of cars, this is a worm gear, which is part of a steering mechanism of an old Ford car. The worm gear has these threads that just keep going around and around, and that's what allows the steering wheel to turn so far before you start straightening the steering wheel out. So here's a picture of a worm gear and the worm gear bearing. So by showing a picture of the worm gear, the students begin to get a better idea of how a worm gear works. And you can see how this part of the worm gear would slide around through these threads that are on an angle, which causes them to keep going and going. That's why you can turn a steering wheel so far, and you actually turn the steering wheel 2 or 3 times full circle to get around a corner. And then, of course, when you're halfway around the corner, you need to start turning the steering wheel the other way to straighten it out. But whatever items you use in your visuals, whatever pictures or videos, whatever you use, if you link it to the topic of the day, then it just helps a lot with the explanation and the understanding of what's happening. So then here on the Canvas platform, it talks about the goals, terminal objectives, and enabling objectives. The overall goal of the conversation activity must be clear. If you aim to improve your students' pronunciations and fluency in a certain topic, for example, fishing, cooking, etc., you must then clearly identify this goal. So there have been TESOL students who created conversation activities about cooking a certain dish, cooking a certain meal in a certain culture, the culture they come from, for instance, and they had pictures of the different ingredients, and part of the lesson they described was how to blend the ingredients together before you would actually cook the item, and then how long you would cook it for, at what temperature you would cook it. So all those details, they would have their students discuss them. And then the enabling objectives, using the learned vocabulary and grammar to make a phone call, to reserve a flight ticket, to buy a concert ticket, to order food from the menu in a restaurant, etc. Once the goal is clear, you would try to achieve it through presenting reading subjects, related vocabularies, related listening activities, and speaking episodes within the class. All these steps are parts of enabling objectives. Enabling objectives are the baby steps taken to achieve a greater goal in a terminal objective. So remember, a few moments ago, I said the terminal objectives are what it is that is going to benefit the student at the end of the lesson, and that links back to the main goal. The enabling objectives are what you do during the lesson to achieve the terminal objective that helps you achieve the goal. So enabling means if you enable somebody, it means you help them. So the enabling objectives are helping the student get to the goal. And the terminal objectives are the benefits to the student at the end of the lesson. Okay?
Yep.
Any questions about that?
No, I'm fine.
Okay. So we're going to look at a couple of these just random. Every time I do a class, we look at some random examples that are here. And I can never remember which ones I've looked at before, so I don't know what we're going to find, but let's look at sample number 10. In this example, The topic is lies and conspiracy. The objective is sharing opinion on good and bad lies and conspiracy theories. Oh, goodness. Randomly selecting conspiracy theories, that fits with the political environment around the globe right now.
Yeah.
A lot of conspiracies going on these days. In this example, you see there are photographs included, but that's the end of that particular lesson plan. So it's not really complete. Certainly does not have all the items that are on my assessment template.
And it doesn't have any link to a video, I guess. Yeah.
No, that's exactly right, and that's what I was saying earlier, Ada, that these examples are from before the pandemic.
Oh, yeah, I said that. Thank you.
So all these examples would have been taught in a classroom.
Okay.
So when the pandemic hit, the people at TESOL said, okay, we need to have the students make sure that these are examples, make sure they're conversation activities and the 4 skills lesson plans. TESOL wanted to make sure that these would be set up satisfactorily for online delivery.
Daniel, isn't this conversation kind of speaking? Isn't it one of the 4 skills?
Yes.
So it's not part of 4 skills.
Well, conversation, as we said a little while ago, conversation requires 2 components, a speaker and a listener.
Yeah.
So speaking and listening are 2 of the 4 skills.
Yeah.
Reading and writing are the other 2.
Exactly.
So right now the conversation activities are focusing on just listening and speaking.
Yeah.
So again, we've got pictures here, but there's no link. There's no homework assignment. There's nothing about assessment. So, don't follow these examples too closely, because you're not going to get a clear idea of what it is you're supposed to do. Okay?
Okay.
Thank you.
And keep in mind, as you're doing these conversation activities, keep in mind that coming up, I'm just looking at our calendar here. On Saturday, Elham will start talking to you about designing 4 skills lesson plans. So she will be talking to you about designing 4 skills lesson plans, which include speaking and listening and reading and writing. But keep in mind, as you start to design your conversation activities, now you're going to be required to do 4 or 6 of the 4 skill lesson plans. I had to do 6. I believe each of you need to do 4. But keep in mind that you could select 4 of your own conversation activities that you create, and you could turn them into a 4 skills lesson plan by adding reading and writing components to your own lesson plans.
Okay, good.
So you don't need to recreate the wheel. This is a lot of work to create these conversation activities, definitely, but you do not need to recreate the wheel and do 4 brand new lesson plans for the 4 skills lesson plans. Just choose 4 of your conversation activities and add to them. Okay?
Okay, I got that.
So do you have any questions about these conversation activities?
I don't.
Me neither.
Okay, let me just look for something else just quickly here. Have you come across videos on your Canvas platform that were not available to you?
No?
No,
No?
no.
I've got a few videos that I get this message, and I'm not sure why it is. I don't know if it's because I'm in Canada and the videos came from somewhere else. I'm not sure why it is,
Or
but
probably because they are no longer on YouTube. That could be a possibility as well.
that is possible. Yes, I'm not sure what the reason is. But if it's not available, then you don't worry about it. So when you do have these conversation activities, when you get this document ready, you just email it to info@tesolcanada.org.
Mhm.
And that's Simon Baker's email.
Okay.
Then next, and I don't think these links are active anymore. Yeah, this is no longer supported. So I have to stop sharing the screen so I can close that tab because it's covered up. And I think the same is the case with this. I don't think this link is active anymore either. Oh, e-learning for kids.
It's here.
Oh, it says these page or lessons do not exist anymore. Okay, that's fine. So I didn't know if those links might have been activated again or not, but apparently not. Oh, here we go. Here it is right here. So this is just the next section on Canvas. 10 conversations for foundation level, 12 for diploma. And Vianney, you said you were advanced, correct?
Correct.
So Ada, this is definitely 10 for you.
Yeah.
And Vinny, this is where I'm suggesting you need to ask Simon how many he's expecting you to do in Spanish, okay?
Thank you. I will do it.
I think it's 10 for you, Vianney. I don't think it's 12. I think it's 10, but you need to ask him that just to confirm.
Thank you, Daniel.
So this says, after reviewing the attached documents and samples of conversation activities, your task is to design 10 of your own. So we'll look at these. We look at the attached examples, and I think oh, here we go. Here they are down here again.
Mhm.
But I would not follow those examples, quite honestly, because they're not complete for what TESOL is expecting at this point in time.
And due date will be February the 12th?
Yes.
Okay. And you are sharing the document that you made today?
As soon as you send me an email, I will email the document back to you, this one.
Perfect.
And Daniel, is it okay if we share your email address with others in the group or no?
Of course. Of
Okay.
course.
Because Zahra, for example, is not here today, or one more student, I don't remember her name, so we can share. Thank you.
Put my email here in the chat.
Benny, I cannot see that.
That's okay.
But thank
As
you
long
for
as
sending me.
Daniel, you can see my email, correct?
Yes.
Okay. So then, Ada, I have
You
Daniel's
sent
email.
me.
I
Yeah,
can
you
forward
sent
that
me.
to
Yeah,
you, no
thank you.
problem.
I got that. Thank you.
I'm putting my email address in the WhatsApp group chat right now.
Great.
There, I just put my email address in the WhatsApp chat.
Yeah. Okay, thank you.
So you can send me an email and then I'll reply to it
Sure.
with that lesson plan.
Okay,
Or
thank you so much.
the assessment form rather.
Yeah.
But it allows you to work on the lesson plan. So I'm just seeing if I think I can copy your email V&E from the chat box. Oh, it looks like it worked.
Thank you.
So the conversation activity form, I'm emailing it to you right now, V&E.
Perfect.
Okay, V&E, that's gone to you now. Ada, have you sent me an email?
No, not yet. I'm waiting. After the class, I will send you right
That's
away.
fine.
Okay,
That's
thank
fine.
you.
That's fine, no problem.
Thank
And I'll send it back to you very quickly.
you. Okay, great. And what is the next? We'll see you again next Monday.
Next Monday, yes.
And do you know what is that subject?
Next Monday, I will be giving you an introduction to MOOC,
MOOC. Okay.
MOOC platforms, edX, and the MOOC essay.
Okay.
So
I
we'll
got
just
your email, Daniel. Thank you.
Okay, perfect, Vianney. So just coming back to the Canvas platform briefly here, still on conversation activities, but you know, everything they say here about conversation activities, this also applies to the 4 skills lesson plans. Because here it's talking about conversation workshops are generally where students engage in listening and speaking activities, supervised and directed by a teacher to improve their comprehension, speaking fluency, pronunciation, and the use of vocabularies and grammar. Well, that's fine, but if it was a 4 skills lesson workshop, they would still be working on improving comprehension, speaking fluency, pronunciation, and the use of vocabularies and grammar. So whether it's conversation activities or whether it's 4 skills lesson plans, you're still working on improving the comprehension and the communication abilities of the student. It's the focus that shifts. So in the conversation activities, your main focus is on the speaking and listening activities and that interchange between two people. With the 4 skills lesson plans, you will still have speaking and listening occurring, but you also will have reading happening and you'll have writing, and you could include some grammatical skill exercises as part of the writing. Or the students could read about something and then they could write a report about it. But that's in the 4 skills lesson plan. In the conversation activities, you're not going to have them write a report, but you might ask them to describe something to the whole class. So it becomes a verbal report because the focus is on speaking and listening. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So it's a shift of the focus where you're placing it with the different students, it's different activities. Workshops are aimed to complement the listening and speaking parts of the 4 skills teaching method of CLT communicative language teaching approach, where the grammar, reading, and writing sections are introduced in a more structured class, commonly known as the grammar class. The lesson plans used in a grammar class should typically correspond and relate to the lesson plans used on a conversation workshop that would refer to the corresponding grammar lessons. Lesson plans for the conversation workshops are called conversation activities. Such activities may or may not happen in the same class. Teachers are allowed to take the students on a field trip, use a computer lab, use a basketball court, or any other environment that can influence rapid improvement of the students' conversation skills. Teachers must surely double check with their school's administration on external school activities arrangements. Note that conversation activities can also be inserted in specified time periods within a grammar class. For example, each activity can be 30 to 45 minutes and start right after a 45 to 60-minute grammar and reading class. Please follow the descriptions in the attached material, and to get a better idea, please review the samples. Well, I'm suggesting that the samples don't give you a very good idea because these are old examples from pre-pandemic days. And now that we have had the experience of going online with education, I'm going to suggest that education is going to include let's open this one up and see what it has to describe for us, has to show. So this is 12 conversation activities. So let's see how Christina did with setting hers up, because she was a diploma student as well. So you see, this was in 2017 that she did this. So 2017, we do have, now even though it's before the pandemic, which started in 2020, she does have a YouTube video.
Yeah.
And she's got a chart included. But there are no pictures in that particular lesson plan. So these are still not as thorough as TESOL was expecting at this point in time.
We will
So
follow your plan, Daniel.
Yeah.
yeah, that's a good idea. Now, if you want to, just so that you can have a very good idea, just close that down. I'm not going to go through all these examples. You can open up as many of these as you want, but I would suggest that you follow that template that I did.
Okay.
If you would like me to, I'd be happy to email you my conversation activities. But you should only use it to sort of give you an idea of how to explain certain things or how to describe things, but you should come up with your own topics, okay?
Great. Thank you.
So this is visiting a doctor. Would you like me to email you my conversation activities assignment,
Of course.
just as
It
a
would be-
reference?
Yeah, it would be great.
Thank you. Yes.
Okay, then Vianney, I'm going to send it to you right away. Just have to stop sharing the screen so I can get to that other site. And then Ada, I will send it to you.
Okay. I sent you an email and thank you.
Okay. Let me just attach that for you, Vianney. Now be sure you use your own topics. So Vianney, I will not be marking your conversation activities because yours will be in Spanish. So they will be marked by somebody who is Spanish speaking, because I'm not. So I won't be marking yours, but Ada, I might be marking yours because I don't know that for sure. I never know until TESOL emails me a student's assignments for
Okay.
marking. I
Okay.
never know if I'll be marking them or not.
Oh.
So Ada, make sure that you use your own creative
Definitely.
ideas.
Okay.
I had a student in the TESOL program about a year and a half ago, and he was really struggling with how to build these conversation activities. And he asked me if I would send him mine so that he could look at how I had designed mine. And so I said, yes, I'll send him. That's fine. Well, he copied mine exactly.
Oh, come on.
He copied mine exactly and sent them in, and I was asked to mark them.
Really? You? Oh my God.
Yes. So Teasel asked me to mark them, and and so when I opened it up and realized what he had done, he had basically just copied everything I did and put it into his own assignment. So I wrote him a note and I said, well, thank you very much for the compliment of copying my assignment, because that's a big compliment if somebody wants to use your work as their own. But I said, it doesn't work that way. You have to create your own ideas and you have to come up with your own material. So I said, you need to redo yours and not be copying mine. So just be original with the ideas that you come up
Yes.
with.
Okay.
Okay. So do we have any questions at all about these conversation activities?
No, we're good.
I think I've pretty much covered everything there is to cover with those. Do you have any other questions at all related to
No, I don't.
okay. Now on Wednesday, in 2 days' time, when you have Anna Patricia for the class, she is going to be doing the practice and demos of conversation activities. So by Wednesday, you need to have at least one conversation activity done, because she's going to be asking you to give a
Mhm.
demonstration of how you would present it.
Okay.
So you would simply open it up and share the screen, and you would go through your conversation activity. So you don't have to have all 10 or 12 of them done by Wednesday, just one,
Just one. Okay.
so that you can give it as a demonstration. And then she will be assessing how you do with the presentation of that conversation activity. And this is important for you to actually do a demonstration, because this is included as part of the participation mark. Yes, Vianney. You're muted, Vianney.
Yeah.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. If I have my activity completed by Wednesday, how is she going to give me a feedback if it's going to be in Spanish?
Well, that's a very good question. Now, I don't know if Anna Patricia speaks Spanish, but I know she speaks Portuguese. She's in Brazil. She does speak Portuguese. So I suspect that she would be able to understand a little bit of the Spanish. So yes, you will present your conversation activity in Spanish, but that's okay. Because there was one time about a year ago where I was asked to observe one of the TESOL students.
Mhm.
I was asked to observe him teaching a student. Now this gentleman has his own school teaching Spanish set up in Winnipeg in Manitoba. And so I went online and through Zoom and I observed him go through this lesson, and he was showing slides, and he was teaching the Spanish lesson to this young lady who was learning Spanish. So even though I don't speak Spanish, I was able to identify and determine how well he was doing at getting his information across to her. And I was able to watch them communicate between them. And I was able to do an assessment of how she understood what it was that he was explaining. So even though I don't speak Spanish, and even though Anna Patricia might not speak Spanish, we've had enough experience that we'll be able to identify how you're doing in terms of delivering the information.
Okay.
So it's an excellent question, but speaking the language is not absolutely crucial to observing how two people interact. I mean, you can watch two total strangers interacting with each other, and even though you might not speak the language they're speaking, you can tell whether it's a positive interaction or whether it's a negative interaction. So we can observe body language, we can observe speech patterns, we can observe volume levels, and we can see how two people are communicating that way, even though we don't understand the exact words. All right. So that's how she will be doing it. So after today's session, now you go away and you create one conversation activity to have prepared for Wednesday to present.
Okay.
And then on Saturday, Elham will go through a session with you about designing the 4 skills lesson plan.
Okay.
And then the following Saturday, on February 4th, Elham will do a session with you where you do demonstrations of your 4 skill lesson plans. And you'll present one of those in the webinar.
Okay.
Okay?
Yeah.
Thank you.
All
Yes.
right. Very good. So next week, next Monday, I'll be talking to you about MOOC. And did we talk about what MOOC stands for?
Yeah, you said it.
I think we did. Do you remember what it
Yeah.
stands for?
I don't.
Massive
Massive,
something online class. Massive, what's
oh,
the first O?
massive open online course.
Open. Yeah. Thank you.
Massive open
Massive
online course.
open online course. Yeah.
Right. So this Canvas platform is kind of a MOOC platform, but not exactly, because these webinars and this Canvas course, the TESOL course, in order to get accreditation, in order to get a certificate, you must pay tuition.
Mhm.
So there are many MOOC courses available on the internet where you don't have to pay tuition and you can take a free course and learn something. But this is kind of like a MOOC situation because, of course, anybody can go to YouTube and look at the TESOL videos that are on YouTube. And that's a good way of them getting an understanding of what we do in these videos and in these webinars. And people can also look at the Canvas platform. So anybody can sign into the Canvas platform and look at this TESOL course material, the beginning part of it anyway. But of course, if they're not doing the quizzes, then they won't be able to access the whole course. But they are able to get a sense of it. So that helps them make a decision about whether they want to sign up for it or not. So there are thousands and thousands of people who look at this course, but only a few sign up,
Yeah.
which is the reality with many courses. So there we go, ladies.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank
Okay,
you, Daniel.
you're very welcome. So do you have any other questions before we end for the day?
No. After the class, I will send you an email, and thank you for sending me back.
No problem. You're
Thank
very
you.
welcome.
Thank you.
Okay.
Okay.
Zara, how are you, Zara? Are you there, Zara? Well, Zara arrived, but maybe she'll watch the recording later.
Yeah.
All right, ladies. So have a good week. I will see you
Thank you.
next Monday.
You too. You too.
Take care.
Okay.
Thank
Goodbye,
you.
Danielle.
Bye.